Hello and welcome to the super happy fun Jabbertron Tea Party podcast with Kiki, Cupcake, Miss, and Tem. This is episode 180, isn't that exciting? Well, I hope you enjoy the show, and have a lovely month of May. Farewell, my fellow internet beings.
So how about those things and such?
Right? How about all that stuff? How about the...
You cut off, I don't know what you said.
How about that stuff? How about the...
You keep cutting off.
I don't know why. Is that better?
I don't know, keep talking, not cocking.
I don't know. But it's...
No, you're still cutting off.
I don't know why. Nothing's changed. Because I'm sitting back, but that's usually there.
Is it my end? I don't know if it's my end.
Let me look. About... How about now? Is that better? Or is that more of the same?
Well, you're not cutting off now.
I turned the input volume up by 25%.
Okay.
I don't know why that made any difference, but apparently it did. Your guess is as good as mine. Anyway, how about them Yankees? I mostly... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's baseball, right?
I think so. I don't know. Field goal?
Woo!
I don't fucking watch sports ball. I don't know. What I do know is it's amazing watching Microsoft slowly eat itself alive.
What did it do now? What?
Well, I guess the Xbox division has slowly been basically shooting itself in the head repeatedly.
Oh, okay.
They took all these studios that they bought last year and went, "You guys aren't profitable, we're closing you." Why did you buy them then?
Well, that's what Embracer Group did.
It's just weird to me to watch a company buy a whole bunch of other companies up and then go, "You guys aren't profitable," deleting. I'm like, why did you spend that money?
I don't know. I don't understand.
Me either. Everyone's got the answers but me.
Actually, I'm pretty sure they don't have the answers either.
I feel like if this was any other, like any company that wasn't a gigantic monolith, like this would be like a death deal for them to be like, "We're buying you. You're not making us enough money. Delete." Be like, you just, like, what? Well, like one of the ones, I forget what it's called, the one that made, like, was it Hi-Fi Rumble or whatever? I forget what
Hi-Fi Rush?
Hi-Fi Rush. Critically successful. Made money. I didn't make enough money. Delete.
I thought it made enough money. Well,
Really
I didn't buy it.
Well, they're closing the studios, so I guess not enough money.
Oh, there's
Here comes
Tim.
someone.
Hello.
Hello.
About time you show up, you fucking slacker.
I literally just got him.
So,
My
point still stands.
Thank you for having me, guys.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem.
You're always welcome. Anyone's always welcome. But you're always welcome.
Hey, thank you. We started yet, or?
Yes.
Fair enough. Late. The definition of the definition of me just late all the time.
Well, we're an hour late recording, so whatever.
That's because
Fair enough then.
Cupcake made a critical mistake in how he decided to somehow. I parked on the Wisconsin side of the river this time just to try something different. Number one, you can't. All the parking lots require a permit, which I never noticed. Yeah, you gotta have a state parks permit to park at any park. Like any park with a parking lot, you have to buy a state parks permit
That's
to park
weird.
there. Right? I pulled in, the guy's like, you can't park here if you don't have the permit. I'm like, what permit? It's a fucking city park. The guy's like, nope. State Park Service runs these. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? He's like, yeah, $25. I'm like, what, for the year? He goes, yeah, for the year. So, like, pay you, get the thing, and then
Party.
I'm good? He's like, yeah, you're good. I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. And the guy 50 handed me 25 back in the placard. I'm like, what the hell? But apparently where I parked added half a mile, so it took me like so long to make the loop. Not that far away from where I normally walk, but for whatever reason it went from 4.8 miles to 5.5 miles. Mm-hmm.
God damn.
Right. Then I had to get stuff for dinner, which ended up being a deli pizza because by the time I got my shit together and was waiting in line and stuff, I was like, I'm not making anything tonight. I just grabbed a pizza to bake. Like, I'm done. I'm done.
I mean, I can't complain. I mean, I got, was it something from the reduced to clear section at work, so it was mere pennies.
Right.
So I can't really say much.
I'm in a completely different time zone, so it's lunchtime.
Where I am, it's light, but it's technically evening here.
You silly people in your future places.
Hey, we're the ones that set the time zones, you know.
God, can you imagine if we didn't have time zones?
I mean, China's an example of what happens when you just have one time zone. I'm pretty sure it's China that has like one time zone for the entire country.
Yeah, so it's like way off from one side to the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is China. Like, they were like, we're to have a consistent time. Like, you guys are like 1,000 miles east to west, and you're gonna have one time zone.
And just be glad, was it? We're not from the early days of like having the time zones, because in this country, in the United Kingdom, in the early days, so this is a really weird like niche fact that train nerdery, whatever. But in the early days of the railways, they had timetables that, I'm not kidding, were literally, depending on where you were, had the minute increments based on distance from the meridian. As in, they measured the minute increments. So essentially, the timetables would be completely out between different places. It would make it horrific to try and organize travel.
That just sounds horrible.
The only reason we stick to hour increments now is literally because of the railways, because it makes it easier to understand.
Right.
So, sounds fun
Like,
fact
I
of the
don't
day.
know the exact history, but like, we have 4, and that seems to work well enough.
Hmm.
I think east is a little too. I can't tell if it's east or central that's a little too large, because like hardly anybody's in mountain, and like I feel like east goes to like somewhere in Wisconsin.
Wait, so does Alaska share the same time zone as California then?
I don't know.
Possibly.
Do the Googling.
I'm going. Whatever reason it didn't like that, it just kind of stopped. There it goes. Alaska is in its own time zone, it looks like, and it is. Okay, I'm confused. So it's an hour. It's yet another hour, like back from the Western, from Pacific time zone. So if it's 3 p.m. Pacific, it's 2 p.m. Alaskan time.
Well, that's wild. I've just found a graph, right?
Yeah.
And it actually shows that technically, if you look at where Alaska lies, it lies in, although it's -9, it's actually it actually mostly is in -10, bordering into -11.
Right.
That's interesting.
Right. I'm guessing it's probably just them trying to be consistent.
Hmm.
I don't know the exact. I mean, Alaska's a big state, so I don't know if it's just like most of the state going east is probably uninhabited, and so they were just like, "Yo, it's all gonna be in one time zone." But I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Fair enough.
What's really weird is if you look at like 8, 8 should cut right through the middle of like west central Canada, but it like jags off.
Hmm.
I'm guessing because of Alaska. And like
Maybe.
6 and 7 do the same thing where it's like there's a huge swath above one of the meridians or one of the latitudes, which is just like this is all 7. Like doesn't matter what's going on, it's 7.
Oh yeah. I guess it's based off of maybe the provinces in Canada.
Well,
Like
isn't
at
that
least
like
the US.
Newfoundland? I think is negative 3.5 for some reason.
Oh yeah.
Or what? Because there's a small chunk of what looks like Canada, like Newfoundland that's 4, but then there's like a little like I think that's Newfoundland, like that little island or whatever there that's like 3.5 for whatever reason.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's also weird where like a state is broken in half by a time zone.
Yeah,
Wait, which state's that?
like
Uh,
Arizona or somewhere around there. I think
Oh
maybe.
Christ.
no, not
Arizona
Arizona.
might be with
Uh,
California.
The Dakotas are broken in half, and like a chunk of Nebraska, like towards the western side,
Hmm.
but not like a lot. Like South Dakota is broken in half, but I guess that's acceptable because there's not a lot of people in South Dakota. And then like there's a small break, like there's an even break through Tennessee and Kentucky between East and Central, but like only a small break through Indiana, and like a tiny break through the Northern Peninsula, Michigan. It's just weird. Like somebody must have just been like, "Fuck that, we're doing it this way," and they were like, "Oh, okay."
Fuck your state. Fuck your state. Fuck your state.
So this is all so strange to me because obviously living in the UK, we are just one time zone and one time zone only.
Well, yeah, your country doesn't span, was it 2,500 miles wide?
Yeah, like I always find it strange when I go on holiday at all to mainland Europe.
Yeah,
Like what is it? I can start off so on say GMT or depending on if it's summertime BST, and then
right.
when I go over the channel, move into what's the name of the Western European time zone. I've forgotten what it's called. But I think the furthest I've gone is Central European time zone, which is like 2 hours ahead of me, I want to say. So that's like Germany and whatnot. I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Right.
Me.
I'm just getting reminded of like there is a content creator called Josh from England, where he like tries stuff from America or what have you, but then like as the most recent thing he did, where he stitched or something, but he was like, I've been visiting America, and it was the whole thing of like, oh, Americans aren't well traveled there, and he's like, look, I'm from the UK. In 45 minutes, I can get to Germany, I can get to France, I can get to the Netherlands. You go 45 minutes in America, and you're in the same state. Like, unless you're like right on the border or something like that. But generally, like if you're somewhere with it, like 45 minutes, yeah, it's
Dude,
like
45 minutes puts you in the same metropolitan area here. Like it's a 50-minute drive from where I live to the Mall of America.
Yeah.
Like when I flew to see my friend up in Sweden, it was less than 2 hours, and so from flying just outside of London, less than 2 hours, and I'd crossed over South England. I think we went a little bit over France and Belgium, because obviously they changed the flight path depending on the wind speed and whatnot. And then, like in that time, I think I crossed about 3-4 countries just to get to the airport in Copenhagen, where my friend met us and we got the train. Like I think we were in her hometown within, I want to say, 3 hours.
Nuts.
Like, and in that time, crossed like 4 or 5 different borders. Which is mad.
Why don't you tell us about that anime you finished? Cupcake?
Oh yeah, something record, Akashic record of the bastard magical instructor.
Okay, I don't know that one.
I've seen it.
Clearly a advertisement for the manga because I clearly did not finish.
Oh.
They were hoping for a second season. I can't tell which. And it was all right. Interesting story, interesting-ish story. Guy is like basically the guy was a military grade mage and retired for an unspecified reason to be a magical instructor, professor of magic at a big like not a high school, but academy. And
I swear he didn't want to be.
What's up?
I swear it's been a while since I watched it myself, but I swear he didn't want to be initially. He was kind of forced into it.
I think because the blonde lady is like one of the senior professors, and she's an old colleague of his, and she's like, he'd been whatever happened in like to set up the story, like he had been like a recluse, and she was like, "Yo, we need a substitute instructor of whatever magic. Can you do this?" And he's like, "No." And she's like, "All right, so Monday morning will you report for class?" He's like, "No." And she's like, "So Monday morning you're reporting for class?" And he's like, "No, wait, I don't have a choice to it." She's like, "So Monday morning you're gonna start teaching this class?" And he's like, "Oh, okay." And they have the whole thing about how like he's but not like all these dudes are all like, "I am the greatest blah 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 of this topic blah blah blah." And he's just, this dude is, you find out that like effectively there are like people in like the the military mages guild or whatever you call it, like the order of military mages, like they're named after tarot cards, and like you are a certain like you if you have like a title, so he's I forget his name, but he's like he's like Greg the Fool because he's got the Fool's card, but the cards are based off magic that they develop themselves because there's all this magic like that they teach that's like general purpose like lightning bolt and fireball and stuff. Like they also develop magic, and if you like are good enough to develop your own magical spells like incantations and shit, like you become like these special forces level dudes. And his is called the Fool, and it's held within a card that he carries on him. And like when he like activates the card, it puts up like an anti-magic field that you can't cast magic within like X amount of feet of him when he does it. And it uses like a ton of mana, but like he's outrageously powerful because he's also a competent hand-to-hand fighter. So there's a couple times at the beginning where he like literally just like snaps his fingers, the card appears in his fingers, and he's like, anti-magic field. And the guy's like, so? And he's just like, kung fu. He's like, oh shit, you know hand-to-hand combat. He's like, kung fu. And obviously, mostly for obvious reasons, he's a bastard instructor because he's a pervert, mostly female cast. And the school uniforms are, oh my god, fan service. I should see if I can find a picture. These are like 16, 17-year-old girls.
I mean, what is it? This is just the manga cover.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. See, that's one of the things is when I created my commission sheet that I'm going to send to people for writing, one of the things I point out is that I do not write is romantic relationships either between minors or between adults and minors, even if it's canon. I don't care if it's canon. I'm not going to write that shit. Because I'm not going to get fucking arrested or investigated because I'm writing minors doing the diddly. Okay?
Now, I want to be clear. At no point does he actually seriously try anything with any of these girls. Like, he is their teacher. He's very clear that he's their teacher. Like, he jokingly a couple of times, takes shots at them about, like, this, that, and the other thing. But, like, the dude is, like, legit, like, like, stoic badass when the time comes. There's a couple of things where, like, they're calling him a dirty pervert. And it was, like, it turns out that he was, playing it up basically to throw the opponent off guard.
Okay. How is that a school uniform?
Don't look at me. And they spend most of the time not wearing the cape. So they're wearing like what is effectively tank tops.
The cape doesn't help.
I like the garters. Like the garters going in both directions. If you notice that, like they have garters running up from their skirt belts to the undersides of their shirts, blouses.
Little miss like maxi skirt back there has a shirt on that's like, "Hi, here's my boobage." Like,
oh, the one in black, that's his friend. That's the like senior instructor.
Yeah, even she's like got the service, the fan service stop up. Here's some boobage for you. Here you are.
You kid, but we did have a teacher a little bit like her at my secondary school.
It's just the uniforms are just bizarre because like most of the time they're shot like when they do the shots, like they're shooting them from the shoulders up, so it looks like a normal uniform from about sternum up. So it's just like when you see them full body, you're just like, that is not a school uniform. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to be, but that's not a school uniform. And that's their summer uniform, which I don't even remember what the winter uniform looks like, but it's not much better.
Something.
Gosh, when did I actually watch this anime? I think I watched it like
It's been out for a while. I bought it off one of those sales where it's like, $10 a series kind of thing. Oh, you'll like this. Tam, the voice actor for the dude is Mim.
No way.
Yeah, Ralph. It took me a minute. I'm like,
Yes.
why does that voice actor sound familiar? I'm like, oh my god, it's Jesse Grell.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
To put this in perspective, Mimcubus is a VTuber who is also a voice actor for Crunchyroll. At this point in time, she hadn't transitioned yet, so if it's like, I'm like, I know that voice from somewhere. I'm like, oh my god, it's Mim.
To be fair, I actually think I watched it in was it? I think I watched it subbed when I watched it. Because this was one of the ones I think we watched, because I was in uni when I watched this.
Right.
So this was one of the ones I think we watched at Anime Society.
Yeah.
So of course there was a kind of an insistence that we watch it in sub. Not sub. Yeah, sub.
Yeah, subtitle.
Can't talk. Been a long day. Working on the shop flowers hard.
I know I've said it before, but like for me, the dichotomy between Crispin Freeman as Alucard and Crispin Freeman as Winton, it's just like, because I'll be in skirmish in Overwatch waiting to be loaded into a game, and I'll like gallop around as Winston, and then it's like just knowing now, I'm like, I know that good voice actors have a range, and that's fine, and that's great. It's just like, unidentified flying object incoming, and it's like, oh my god, like this is like the happiest, most optimistic gorilla you've ever seen in your life. But he also does Mr. Tall, Dark, and Handsome over here. He's been alive for like 2,000 years.
Honestly, the defining performance for Alucard for me is always going to be Takahata 101 as Alucard in the Bridge series. Are we bad people? I think we are.
Get that bitch a cannon. Bitches
love cannons.
I used to have like a little thing stuck on my whiteboard in my room when I was at university that literally was just that quote with a picture of Alucard.
I love that they do the callback at the end of this series where she's got the double-barreled one.
I think as well, was it when somebody went on Takara's channel, I think they actually asked him who was his favorite voice to do, and I think he outright said it was Alucard. He enjoyed playing Alucard a lot.
Like he usually plays like bad guys in DBZ Abridged, so like it must have been nice to play a main character.
Right, I think he also said he wrote most scripts as well for
I still love
Hellsinger Bridge.
I still love when they're fighting in London and he comes in on the fucking ship to fucking Andrew WK. And he's like, Anderson, good to see you. And who's your friend? Over here. I think wants to say hello. You know anything about?
I haven't watched it in a long time. I
forget what the fucking. It's one of the Nazis, but they had their vocal cords ripped out, so the fucking character just grumbles like. He's like, oh. Like, this fucking makes me laugh every time I see that scene because he's just like he lands in the middle of the Nazis and the Catholic priest fighting, and he's just like, Anderson, long time no see, and who's your friend? Oh, hello.
Love it so much. Gosh, that demands a rewatch at some point, like just for laughs. I can't remember where I was introduced to it. It might have been friends at uni that's like, hey, I think you'd like this, and then they just sent me the link to it. And then I just sat there watching it. like when I wasn't working on my coursework. Cupcake, remember I said about I showed you that picture of my plug that had blown out.
Oh yeah, how's that going?
I posed the thing to my dad about might have been the nearby lightning strike to it, and he said, you know what? That's actually not a bad shout because apparently, apparently it was there. There was one really massive ground strike nearby my house, and a few people were saying it did a little bit of damage from talking to people at the till. So we think that's what may have done it. But we'll see what the electrician says.
Right.
Boo 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 doo, indeed.
Mm-hmm. Beep boop.
So you wanted to talk about the lack of classic animes from the early 2000s?
So there was this running thread on Twitter or X or whatever it's called. It just happened to come up through my feed, so I was looking at anime releases. They were bringing up that there's not like everyone can remember there's famous anime from the 70s, 80s, 90s, but you get to 2000s, 2010s, there's really not a lot of seminal classics. 90s had DBZ and Sailor Moon, and you can name any number of things. Bebop, some people are just like, oh yeah, that series. Then you get to the 2000s, 2010s, and it's just like, I'm sorry, what? What anime? No, I never saw that anime. That anime's 20 years old. I mean, what would you guys say? What's a famous anime from 2000 to 2010?
Lucky Star?
I mean, without looking it up and everything, nobody can just name an anime. It's I agree with you, Lucky Star, and we brought up Haruhi Suzumiya, but someone then responded that show came, people who were born the year that show came out are now high school seniors. I was like, shut up.
Oh no, I get reminded about people's ages when I'm having to do age verification at the tills, and it's just
right.
I'll give you an example. Energy drinks, right? You have to be 16 to drink them here.
Right.
If I recall, Lucky Star came out about 2007, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. I get people with 2007 IDs coming up and are able to now purchase energy drinks.
Right.
I don't like this.
The guy in my department who's graduating high school this year was born after I finished high school. Yup. It's only the year after, but damn, it really, laid into me hey, dude, you're, the dudes that are working for you who are almost grown adults, they were born after you were a grown adult. It's oh, God.
Poor Cupcake. Poor Cupcake.
Right.
Is it something that not a lot of good anime came out during those years, though?
Well, I mean, even think mid 20, the teens, think 2010 to 2020. What? I mean, it wasn't like there wasn't good anime, but nothing that I think because there's so much and at the speed at which we consume stuff doesn't get it's the same as happening with movies. We don't quote stuff anymore because it doesn't sit in our minds for long enough. You don't have the zeitgeist anymore. It's just here and gone, here and gone, here and gone. Somebody was like, well, what about Lord of the Rings? I'm like, Lord of the Rings was 20 years ago. It's over 20 years ago now. It's well, yeah, but that was early 2000. Okay, name a movie in the last 10 years that people are still they're quoting it like Ghostbusters or, I don't even know. We quoted stuff from Jerry Maguire, show me the money. Show me the money.
Um,
And that's kind of dated at this point, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we hit a point where like broadband streaming, whatever, like it just the stuff doesn't stick with us. Like that's just my own personal opinion. It just doesn't stick with us. The same thing's happening with anime. Like they produce so much anime that nothing sticks with us culturally. It's just like gone.
it depends because thinking back on it, what is it to like the last decade?
Yeah.
I know. I think it's the change in the media landscape. So the point I'm getting at here is when I think of last decade, I realize
Yeah.
most of the quotes that come into my head are from like online media, like from like tape. I know I realize As Death Movie started in like 2008. But if I think of like any kind of quote from the last decade, it'd be things like what is it? Everybody do the flop or beat beep I'm a sheep. Like things like that. I think it's because obviously as you said, the media is more instant, it's more speedy, but it's like little short quotes like that are more likely to get stuck in your head.
Well, I'm going off more like mass media, less like online stuff. Like we don't quote movies and TV shows anymore because there's so many and they come so fast. Like I'm not disagreeing. Like I agree with you. Like it's internet quotes for me too, but like I don't quote TV shows like I used to. Like I quote shit from Spaceballs, Star Trek, Star Wars, Ghostbusters, Caddyshack. You know, old movies. Movies are now 30, 40, 50 years old. And TV shows too. It's like shit from the 80s and 90s. It's like we got past about the mid 2000s and it just kind of like I also don't watch like TV anymore. But even then it's like I just don't there's no impact. Like I quote some stuff from like Adventure Time and like a little bit of Steven Universe and a little bit of like I haven't watched enough of like Owl House and some of the other stuff, but like you get about 2010 and it just kind of like my like zeitgeist pop culture just kind of goes also because like work and school and everything just kind of boom.
Yeah. But the point I guess I was trying to make though is that the type of media we consume has completely changed. Like because back when I was like really young, and then obviously back when
Right.
you were consuming this media when it was like newer,
Yeah.
that was all you had. Nowadays, you could go from one video watching like a review of
Right.
whatever, then the next video is just skibbity toilet or something.
Right.
Like that's the point I'm getting at, is that the media landscape has changed. There is so much more on offer that nothing is memorable anymore because there's too much.
Well, and we
You
don't
could argue.
I also think something that came up that I also agree with is they talk about how we don't consume stuff as a group anymore because like streaming is personal. Like you might watch it with like, you know, your spouse, partner, whatever, and maybe a friend occasionally, but most people watch stuff solo now. There's not this like, hey, did you see that movie?
Yeah, I can see that because nobody's really going like ever since COVID hit and everything was streaming,
Right.
and everybody jumped on the streaming wagon. Then it's like, oh, we don't go to movies anymore because I'll just like my exceptions were like I'm going to see Dune on the big screen because I want to have that experience of seeing it on the big screen. But
Right.
if you're not going to be someone like me or someone who's like a diehard fan, they're going to be like, oh, I'm just going to wait until it's on streaming service. That way I could pause it so I could go to the bathroom, refill my drink, get another snack. That's already in the house. I don't have to pay to get something to drink or a snack, or I don't have to pay for tickets because it's included with the like $7.99 I already pay per month or whatever. And 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 also like if you have streaming services, like I've seen people online doing this as well, where what they'll do is they'll like for the like a watching of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings with their friends,
Right.
they'll have a party and then they'll put it up on the big screen and they'll eat their way through the movies because there's a Hobbit and Lord of the Rings cookbook. So they'll go
Right.
in there and they'll grab it and they'll be like, okay, or we can have a themed party. So that's a whole heck. So they're like, if I'm gonna spend a whole shit ton of money watching a movie, I'm gonna make it a party.
Hmm.
Because when does it come out on a streaming service? Okay, we'll plan our themed party for there.
Hmm.
So I can see that happening, where it's like, yeah, that's because like the last time it was like so much. It's like $12. It was like $24 for just the tickets for 2 adults for like a
Oh.
nighttime. Like, not matinee or afternoon or anything, just regular, like, Friday or Saturday night. So it's like, okay, yeah, that's why people don't come anymore. And, yeah.
That's
But having, oh sorry.
That's pretty much what I did. I waited for Dune 2 to come out on streaming so my husband and I could watch it so I could, because he doesn't understand Dune.
Okay, to be clear, when we watch these movies, this is what's going to be happening with me because I'm just going to be like,
So I can explain Dune to him while we watch it,
right,
which is what he enjoys. Because I can't do that in a movie theater.
right,
Nor do I want to pay movie theater prices.
right.
I already have the streaming service. I want to be able to sit anyway I want to, pause whenever I need to, like Mish said, go to the bathroom whenever I want, eat whatever I
Right.
want.
Get high while you watch it, you know.
Well, it's just the comfort of, like,
I don't do that
watching it in
anymore,
your
but
own
yeah.
home. Right. Just
But
the
yeah,
comfort
like-
of being in your own home. Like, even when we stream movies, TV shows here, like, I much prefer watching it, like, with you guys than going to the movie. Like, not even cost or anything. Just, like, the ability to be like, yo, you guys want to watch blah tonight? It's like, yeah, sure. Or, like, Tim, you and I watching the last season of Futurama, like, took us a little while, but, like, we got through it, and I would not have enjoyed it nearly as much watching it by myself as watching it with somebody else who's also into it. Like, we were,
Plus-
I was dying at the toy episode. I was like, what the fuck am I watching?
But yeah,
Plus
like,
also like, oh sorry.
like Kiki said, she can like Mr. Kiki can be like pause. They can pause it, and she can explain it. Then they can like hit play, back up 10 to 15 seconds, and continue watching.
Right.
And you can't do that with a huge ass movie theater. So, you know. Anyways,
Well,
go
like,
ahead, Tim.
Yeah, go ahead, Tim. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, plus also, like, when we were watching it together, the number of times one of us saw, like, a little Easter egg or something, pointed out to the other, we'd wind back and find it. Like, can't remember which episode it was we were watching, where I said, hey, that looks oddly like, what is it? What's the, in Disenchanted, like, in the background? We scrolled back a little bit, and it's just like you see Lucy and then all the rest of them from Disenchanted in the background. It's like, what? You didn't even notice it first time, and then there was another thing that you found. Like, that is the best bit of sitting with friends, is that you find things that others didn't see, and then you can go back, look at it, as you guys were saying before.
We just consume media differently now.
Right.
Yeah. Although if now this is on the physical media, and I know this because I have this specific physical media. I do not know if this is there on you would just have it digitally. I'm just gonna throw it out there. So the extended Lord of the Rings trilogy have Easter eggs in them. So like for example, I'm not sure. I think this is Fellowship. It's an SNL skit about the Council of Elrond. And Jack Black. I don't know. I think it was Jack Black. I'm not sure, but whoever was that person put the One Ring as a cock ring. And so it's just,
God.
you know, like, you know how it is. But it was just, there's Easter eggs in each of, like, the menu. You have to go to the menu, the chapter menu of, like, so you have to, like, scroll through it and you have to know where to go. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if it's in the digital copy, like it is in the physical copy, the actual DVD.
Digital copies are usually, if you purchase it outright or run it through streaming service, it's usually just the film, and I think the film alone.
Yeah, you probably have to find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Mm.
And also kind of like what Tim was saying, because if we were watching the extended versions of The Return of the King, I will be able to point out to you exactly which, at the very end, which scene was cut. Because unless you see the extended version, you don't necessarily catch it in the theatrical version.
Mm.
And I don't know if anyone minds if I say it.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So in the theatrical version, at the very end, when they're all going to the gates of Mordor to create a distraction for Frodo and Sam, right? So,
Right.
Mm.
And then Aragorn and Gandalf and, you know, Legolas and Gimli and the halflings, they ride up to the doors themselves, right? So they ride up, and it cuts to the gates opening, and then it cuts back to Aragorn. Looks like he's turning around, but you're like, wait a minute, wasn't he just facing? Like, because they rode up, they stopped, and he goes, "Come on out, you know, come on out, we're here, blah blah blah." And then, okay, it's open, but then he's turning around, but wasn't he just facing the gates, right? He was just facing the gates.
Mm.
So that's where the scene was cut. It's the Mouth of Sauron scene from the extended version, where the gates open, he rides out, gates close back, and, you know, he's being all, like, evil minion-y, and he's like, "We found your little friend," and holds up the mithril chainmail shirt that Frodo was wearing. Now, Frodo, they had gotten that because they had captured Frodo after Shelob, the thing with Shelob, but what they didn't know is that he was already, Sam came and saved the day, and they're still continuing onwards. But to, like, demoralize them, they have this. Aragorn swings forward, you know, kills the Mouth of Sauron, rides back towards the group, and it's like, "Oh, we have to believe that Frodo's still alive." And then the gates open, and that's when he turns back. So that makes sense because he's facing the rest of the people he was there with in front of the gates, and then the gates open again. That's when he turns. So that scene was cut off. But unless you're actually paying attention, you don't really necessarily catch that.
Hmm.
And unless you've seen the extended version with that scene, you don't necessarily, like I said. And I've said this before about Dune. So when Dune 2's theatrical trailer came out in the Dune server I'm in, which I kind of lurk in right now, I don't really, you know, go in that pit of um so we will watch it as a group and then go through it, like, scene by scene, and compare it to other trailers. Like, literally they're picking things apart. And so someone said, like, "Oh, I don't like the fact," because of course, like, there's the gladiatorial scene, and that I feel okay with saying because that's part of the trailers that most people have seen by this point. So the gladiatorial scenes with Feyd-Rautha, the Nalbyron, and so of course they're going to CGI the crowd. That makes sense, right? Oh, like, I don't like how, like, this, they didn't, like, do more, like, I guess, variety in, like, how the crowd was cheering. I'm like, look, and I literally said, I'm like, look, when it's on the big screen and you are a casual viewer, you are not sitting there analyzing it. like we are. Okay, you're on the big screen, you're a casual viewer, you're a casual fan. Let's see what this is about. You're not going to pay attention to the background because that is not the focal point of this scene. The focal point is the fucking dude right in front of you. Like, who's on the sandy floor of the gladiator pit. Like, Feyd-Rautha is the focal point. Like, the background where one section is going yay with the right hand, and then another section is going yay with both hands, and then another section is like, waving both hands or something different. I'm like, look, there's a budget, and and these people know what they're doing. They know how to set things in the background for the human eye and human gaze, and they go, what does a cheering crowd look like in this setting? Then they do that and set it in the background. But it's like, look, you guys stop complaining about a movie that is bringing fans into the fandom. Stop. Like,
Also, movies that were made literally decades ago at this point.
yeah. Like, and it's stuff like that where it's like, because I think I was talking with someone about this in another server where we were talking about Dune.
Somebody brought up the fucking Q-tip crowds in the pod racing wide shots in episode 1 of Star Wars. And I was like, that movie came out in 1999. The only reason you even know that is because A, they brought it up in one of the making ofs, and B, because like you could stop the DVD and look.
Yeah, or there's like a YouTube like breakdown of, oh my god.
Right.
And it's like, yeah.
I mean, when I was in the cinema watching actually the re-release, because obviously it's 25th anniversary this year of Phantom Menace. When I was watching the re-release, we were sat there because obviously the two people I went with and myself, we've seen the film and the entire like original trilogy and the prequels like multiple times over, and then seeing it on the large screen in the cinema is just, we were sat there picking out all the little mistakes and things that we never noticed before.
Right.
Because it's so easy to see when it's blown up on a huge honking screen. Like,
Well, you gotta remember. Yeah.
The CGI looks really dated in some areas by today's standards, but it's just quite fun to see.
That
so
movie is so old that when it came out originally, they were still using fucking 35mm film for projection.
Right.
Like, I don't even think there. How many like theaters are still using analog projectors? Isn't everybody digital now?
I don't know actually. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
It wasn't like a threat or anything. I'm just saying, like, it's not that like 35 is low resolution, but you know what I'm saying? Like, holy shit. We've got like the projectors today are like what, like 8K or something? I can't remember what the standard like big screen projector throws.
I mean, it depends on the type of cinema screen you're in.
Right.
Obviously, you've got the different designations. Like, I know Cineworld here is the one who holds like the rights to use IMAX and what's the other one, 4DX and whatnot. And then there's like one other standard
Fucking
in the
4DX.
UK side.
Was that 5D? The one where they had the fucking moving chairs.
Yeah, that's
So
the one.
hokey.
That's the one.
So hokey. The chairs rumble. Whatever.
I think the first time I ever used one of those was to go and see the first Doctor Strange film.
I believe it.
So, speaking of the Phantom Menace, you guys actually been to see it at the re-release at all? I don't know if they're doing it in the US. I presume they are.
I don't go to the theaters.
Oh yeah, fair point. Before we discuss
He
it
does,
before.
just not very often. Don't let her bullshit you.
I haven't been in like 3 years.
What? I thought you guys went like in the last 6 months.
No?
What I'm gonna say is, if you
In the
do
last
see
year,
it,
you have 100% gone to the movies because I remember you going to the movies.
What the fuck did I see?
I don't know. You've seen like multiple movies. I swear to God, like this was not pre-COVID because there's been a couple of times you're like, I'm at a movie. I'm like, oh, okay, have fun. Like I haven't been to a movie theater since before COVID, but that's because I'm a reclusive shut-in. Also, movies are just so like everyone's been saying, movies are so freaking expensive now.
I just did the conversion rate, and somehow I don't know, despite the fact that everything is allegedly more expensive here, somehow cinema tickets are relatively cheap by comparison to you guys. Like you were saying, what, it was $24, yeah, to go and see a film.
Sounds right.
In the UK, I worked it out. For what I paid to see the Phantom Menace was roughly about $14 in USD.
Not bad, not bad.
Well, let's see. If I was gonna go see a re-release, I probably wouldn't go to a big theater, cause why? Why would I want to go to a big screen to see an old movie? I'd probably go to one of those shitty little tiny theaters. That way it would be less sad. Because
That's how you really feel.
certain things do not age well. Especially if they use a lot of CGI.
Yeah, there must not be a lot of movies out because, like, I'm looking at the nearest movie theater to us, and there are a lot of, like, re-releases being run. Not a lot, but they're, like, not, like, not a lot of times, but, like, they're filling in, like, a ton of the theaters. Like, The Amazing Spider-Man 2012.
Wow.
Star Wars: The Phantom Menace.
That was 10 years ago? Oh, more than 10 years ago? What?
Yeah. Like, oh wait a minute, maybe it's because I'm on today. If I go tomorrow, is there more? Oh yeah, okay, it's not so bad. Let's say
I go good. Oh, sorry.
let's say I want to see Star Wars. How much would a ticket loading in? General admission $12. Yeah, so what about what Mish said? So probably about $15 to get in, and then like another $20 in food. Oh, I can order online. Let's see how bad it is. Minnesota, my local theater. Yep. I just want to see.
Whoops. There we go. Nothing happened. We're fine.
Oh my God! A large popcorn and drink is $18 now.
Jeez.
Wow. God, that's just outrageous.
Do what I used to in school, sneaking McDonald's in.
Pardon?
You can buy a giant refillable popcorn tub for $28, and it's only $5 every time you come back to have it filled.
Do they do butter popcorn for you guys?
Buttered popcorn? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so ridiculously hard to find here, and I hate it because I like butter popcorn.
We're a very
But they
fat
do, like,
country.
They do like plain, or like what do they do?
They do sweet and salted here. And yes, you can have both together, which isn't too bad, but my preference is for butter.
That sucks.
Anybody who has plain popcorn, I'm sorry, you are a menace to society.
I don't disagree. I was just curious, like, what the options were. Like, I don't know if they did like caramel corn or something.
I mean, you can buy that stuff pre-bagged, but that's going to cost you even more than I think getting it from like the counter at
Right.
the. To be fair, what we are good for here, I know, is we're very, very good on sweets and ice cream for cinema. Surprisingly.
Oh my god, they have hamburgers now. They are $16.
Look, if I'm getting a $16 hamburger, I am going to a fancy ass restaurant, not a movie theater.
How is that more than Five Guys?
That's just the hamburger, no sides, no nothing, just the fucking hamburger. If you want the behemoth, which is their big guy, that's $20.
Jeez.
Or you can get a chicken sandwich for $15.50. You can get a burrito for $14. This is amazing. I love this. I'm so glad I looked at this. How about some chicken tenders for $15? Oh my god.
Chicken strips.
3 standard
strip.
tacos, $16.
Does it come on a silver plate?
A small bag of French fries is $5.89.
Look, even way back when the first Twilight movie was in theaters. Okay, this is Twilight movie number 1. I still smuggled fucking McDonald's into the movie theater in my purse. Okay,
dude. We went to see, I think it was Iron Man. I brought an entire case of beer hidden across my winter coat.
Wait, are you guys allowed like alcohol in cinemas? Because it depends on the cinema here.
We weren't at that time. We are now, at least here in Minnesota.
Yeah, my local theater does alcohol.
Yeah.
Mine does not.
My local is closed.
Let me double check. Because I mean I had not even. Okay, so this is.
To go back to it, I think the last movie I saw in theaters was Multiverse of Madness, which was 2022.
That was 2022. This has already been 2 years.
But I'm checking with hubby. He will get back to me. He is at work.
I mean, like, I'm not gonna like argue it, but I swear, like, you've been to the movies a couple times in the last, couple years.
I might have meant that I was going to people's places to watch movies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nobody tells me anything. They're like, did you see that thing? I'm like, what thing? The Thing. Oh, okay. No, I was at work, like normal.
The Thing, a great film.
Is a great, and an even better video game prequel.
Okay, now I need to play that.
So, oh my god, hold on a minute. Theaters with alcoholic drinks. Regal's bar locations have an incredible variety of drinks. So I guess you can. I just don't. Again, like, oh wait, let me reopen the closed tab because I want to take a look. So the Regal bar menu. All right, here we go. Vodka sodas, whiskey and bourbon, beer. So margaritas. If you want a house margarita, either classic or flavored, it's $11.99. Which is about standard. Italian margaritas $12.99. So is a mango margarita. The Regal Grand Margarita is $13.99, as well as the salty watermelon. Okay, those come in mason jars. If you want a Tito's vodka soda, that's $10.99. If you go the other vodka sodas are $11.99. So again, like these are like standard. But if I'm already paying $12 for a movie ticket, let me actually go to Regal.
If I'm gonna drink alcohol, I'm gonna get one of those massive like wine boxes, and I'm just gonna sneak it in my bag and just be like, oh, with the tap.
Yeah, they check bags nowadays and coats.
Like they check bags at the cinema.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that just like where you are, or is that like US wide thing? Because I've never experienced that here. Only at like airports and train stations where there's international like stuff.
I can only speak for where I live.
Fair enough.
I haven't been to the theater in forever, and at this point, if they did that to me, not that I smuggle stuff in, I'd just be like, you know what? Keep the ticket. I'm going home. If they're gonna fucking frisk me to make sure I'm not bringing a fucking box of jujubes in, I don't need to go to the movies.
Half my friends would be getting chucked out of like the theater then if they frisk the bag, because I know half of them carry certain things on them which are not yet legal here.
So I'm looking at this here because I kind of want to see it. To see Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire on a third. So if I wanted to see today at 4 or 5 p.m., which is already gone, I know. Hold on a minute. Let me actually click on the. But it's for an adult. It's $14.
Ugh.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't actually know what I'm probably going to see at the cinema, besides obviously being invited to go to see the Phantom Menace like 2 days ago. Like, I'm not actually sure anymore. I'm thinking about it, like what is even on at this point. I barely keep up.
That's been my biggest thing with the movies is there's nothing that I need to see so badly that I can't wait for it to be streamable.
Wait, what?
What?
Disney and Warner Brothers Discovery will begin to bundle their streaming services together?
Oh, they are getting desperate.
But they be rivals, aren't they?
It's more like if we work, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So if they work together, they push out anyone else.
True.
Because I mean, what is it? Amazon's been doing a weird thing recently where some of their series, like I think Has Been Hotel, you can actually watch it on, even though it's a Prime show, you can actually watch it on YouTube if I recall. Like a lot of them have been doing interesting things like that to kind of get more attention, if that makes sense, and get more money, because the streaming services only make so much.
Right.
And then Netflix just doubles down on like, no password sharing, no this, no that. We're gonna up the price and give you ads.
Well, you know what? You can't confirm or deny that my mom doesn't live with my older brother. Anyway, just
right.
just because. But yeah, like I was saying, like, so if I'm already paying $14 for one ticket for an adult for a 4 o'clock movie, p.m.
Right.
I'm not gonna go over to the bar and pay another $10 to $15 for an alcoholic drink that I could bring myself and make sure is at the bottom of my goddamn purse in a water bottle if I really want to drink during a movie. Or just wait until it's on a streaming service and it's at home.
Right.
Mm.
Ah.
I'm curious, right? As soon as we've been on the subject of cinemas, do you guys
Right.
think that, what is it, cinemas will, not in the same way necessarily, but do you think they will exist in like the future?
Yes, but probably not in the same way.
Hmm.
I think and it's just my personal opinion, no empirical data. I think the multiplexes are probably on their way out because it's not like you'll have more art houses and small theaters doing like reruns and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I see that.
Hmm. I know
I mean,
around here there's.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I know around here, what is it? They're spending so because we used to have like a theatre stage, just typical theatre stage, and they're upgrading it to be like a small cinema. I have a feeling it's going to be more stuff like community cinemas rather than, as you said, the Oiplex thing where, say, you're in the middle of town, you're doing some shopping, and you can't be bothered to do anything else. Just rock up to the cinema, buy a ticket, and see something for a little bit.
Right.
And it's not like you're not going out of your way to do it, if that makes sense.
I'm like I realize they're not logical anymore, but I miss like malls having little movie theaters you can go catch a movie.
Mm.
I will be
Oh.
right back.
Okay.
Well, the one major mall. Now, this is in an area that I would consider where the quote unquote rich people live. They're like richer communities. Or thank you for.
Mm. Interesting you should say about like back of the mall sort of thing. Funny enough, the actual cinema I went to the other day to see Phantom Menace was actually a little cinema. They still do have them dotted about the place even here. There's just a little cinema at the back of the shopping centre or shopping mall that I was at.
Yeah.
The problem is, I guess, like the whole big chain setup will probably be what disappears, but they might keep the cinema there potentially.
Right. Well, like to put it in perspective, like there used to be a mall, like I don't know, half a mile away from my house. It had a 3 or 5 screen movie theater, like not tiny, but not huge by any means, and like it was cool because I could walk to the theater, see a movie, and then walk home, like in middle school, high school. And eventually the mall closed because it wasn't a huge mall. It wasn't like the big malls in the city. And then they everything closed, and then like those malls got wiped out by the online, like just online business being a thing. Like you don't need a mall for little like how did I describe this to my friends? Like malls were superseded by online companies being able to fill the niches that the little boutique stores in the malls fill.
Yeah, so I know that the mall I grew up going to is
Right.
no longer a mall, but the one I was referencing is in a wealthier area, so it's still around. And one of the like cornerstone stores, kind of thing, like a Dillard's or a J.C. Penney or whatever,
Yeah.
it's literally right out front, and the entrance is on the second floor by the food court. Is the Cinemark. So, because I met my mom there to watch Godzilla, the newest Godzilla movie, which I love because it's got the traditional Mothra. She was so pretty. Anyways, but again, that's like because I know that the mall that was nearest to my husband, when he literally grew up 5 minutes away from this mall, like via car. That used to have like a Regal Cinemas or whatever, but then that closed. So yeah.
Ah, I
So
know
like,
why Regal shut. So their parent company is actually based near where I live, and the parent company in the UK has actually been doing really, really badly. So the easiest thing to get rid of was the American arm, and that was Regal. So that's why
Okay.
no Regals exist anymore. They just cut it because it was just like they started losing tons of money, and it's just like, what's the easiest thing to get rid of? The American arm. Okay, gone.
well, I do know like before COVID, because there's a Regal in my city, and then there was a Regal like 20 to 30 minutes away in another city. That's by where my friend and his girlfriend live now. But that one by them closed. So they now need to, thank you for calling the USG.
And she's gone. Yeah, there's like, I think, 2 theaters left within 20 minutes of me, and I don't care. I don't care enough to go. It's not even like, I don't know, like if it was like less than $10 to get in and the food wasn't $15 to $20, I might consider it, but like the prices they want, it's just like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm fine. I don't need to go. As soon as I saw the hamburgers were up like the $15, $20 range, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm done.
Yeah, if I want a hamburger when I'm actually in a movie theater, I'm swinging by like Burger King, McDonald's, whatever, and getting stuff off the dollar menu. And all right, okay, fine, I'll get the large pop from the movie theater, but if I when I went to see Godzilla with my mom, I literally stopped at the gas station, got a can of like the cold brew unsweetened coffee and some chips and the pretzels. And because I knew, I'm like, I don't feel like getting stuff from the movie theater. No, I'm gonna get this shit because it's gonna be cheaper.
I return.
We did the exact same the other day. Like, okay, I wanted to buy my icy at the cinema, and my friend wanted a Baskin Robbins. That's fine, but it's just like we had a deal, did me and my friends, where they'd pay for some stuff, I'd pay for others, and we'd abuse each other's discounts. So essentially, I bought all the food for the cinema because I could use my workplace discount to get all the food for cheap. It's just like it worked out. For all the food we bought would probably come to about the price of one burger, and we bought like a bag load of stuff. Just snuck it in the cinema.
Firstly, were we still talking about cinema food?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of just coming back around.
Secondly, I had to get up because my mom dropped something in the kitchen, and I want to make sure she didn't break it on herself. And thirdly, all the cinema food talk made me make some popcorn.
I can dig it. I can dig it.
My husband has replied, "Oh, that's right, we saw the Mean Girls musical this year. I forgot about that." You are correct! Yes, they made a musical out of Mean Girls.
Cupcake has no memory, but he has enough memory to remember you saw a movie this year.
I also saw Barbie. I forgot about that.
That was, yeah, I guess I was technically... That's what I remember you seeing with your husband. You were like, we're going to go see a movie, and I'm like, bye! That was last summer, I think.
Yeah,
technically not this year, but you know what I'm saying? In the last year. Is in like the last 12 months.
I'm gonna say that was like July last year.
I go to the movies more often than I think.
Like in October? We watched it, I want to say. Because I kept saying I'm going to go see it, and I just never did. And then, like, Kiki had it available for streaming, and we watched it, and I was just like, the hell did I just watch? That's some fucked up shit, bro. Something about horses, I don't know. I gotta laugh. That's all I care about.
I have a message from my lender. This better be not bad because I already had my student loans.
We made a mistake. Your loans are not dispersed. In fact, we've doubled them. And the interest rate.
Well, hey, we're stuck with loans for the rest of our lives, and there's nothing we can do about it.
I want you to know, Tam, there was a time when your loans were not dispersed when you died in this country, and that still terrifies me.
I remember you saying when we were having a discussion.
Yeah. Like, one of the good things that Barack Obama's administration did was get rid of that caveat on student loans. Because that's horrifying. You're dead, and if your parent, like, let's say you were 19, like you're a freshman, sophomore year of college, and you die. Maybe just something not even your fault. Your parents who co-signed your loans, because you're a kid, effectively, are now on the hook for however how much money you've taken out. It's just like, what?
Crazy,
Yeah.
but
So,
Right.
Cupcake, you said something about horses. It reminds me of a thing I saw. They were reading a Tumblr post,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's the girl and her horse movie, except within the first 20 minutes, the horse dies, and the rest of the hour-long movie is her going through occult shit to bring the horse back to life through necromancy and go compete in their big race. Because, you can't beat that dead horse.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my god, yes, you can't beat that dead horse. Worth her
it's
time.
not like I'm quiet, but I'm just laughing at that whole premise. Do you think somebody just literally turned around and went, "Yes, I know how to make a movie. We'll make it based on a pun about beating a dead horse."
But thou must is thine destiny. I'm still sad that they called off the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight.
They
Wait, they
did?
called it off?
I was under the impression they called it off.
I wanted Mike Tyson to kick his ass.
Because Mike Tyson seemed like he was taking it serious. Like, it wasn't
think a
going to be
lot of
like
people would've.
Floyd, where it was like, oh yeah, fight to the draw. It's like, I'm going to beat your ass.
Not gonna lie, probably would have been a better show because what is it? I actually haven't seen any of Jake Paul's fights, but I know out of the two of them, the actual trained one is Logan, and as much as I'm not a fan of either of them, it would have been more interesting to see somebody who's properly trained take on somebody who's a literal champion.
Don't
So,
talk to me
normal
about
fight.
Logan Paul.
Hmm?
I said don't talk to me about Logan Paul. I have to see his dumb ass when I watch wrestling.
Wait, what?
Logan Paul is a WWE superstar. He is currently the... What championship is he holding? The North American Championship, I want to say.
So he's a regular then. He's not just a fun cameo.
No. Prime, his drink, is one of their sponsors.
Which is why he's the U.S. North American champion. He's, sponsoring.
I love how to
No, what I hate even more, he's not that bad of a wrestler. He's actually pretty good.
Yeah, he's been training since he was a kid.
He's a terrible human being, but...
There's no Donovan Danhausen.
No one is a Danhausen.
Danhausen is the best parts of 80s and 90s wrestling today. Like that style of goofy but intimidating.
I just love that I found that coffee for Cupcake.
It's
I
good
was like-
coffee too. That's the weird part. It's not even like it's a gimmick. Like his lines of coffee are actually really good coffee. I'm drinking it right now. This is not his cup, but pour yourself a
sponsored.
big old cup of nope. The best birthday gift I've ever gotten. Just a giant coffee cup, like an actual legitimate giant coffee cup, not the I drink, I live coffee, whatever that thing I have that's like puts an entire pot. Like I told my mother, I'm like, why did you buy that? Like we can't use that for anything. It's too big for coffee. You maybe use it as a vase.
You said about like Prime being one of the sponsors.
Yeah.
So here's a new level of irony. You know how like I don't know if you saw in the UK about a year ago, people were paying like hundreds of pounds just to get a bottle of Prime. Yeah, recently because they've not been able to sell enough of the stuff, where I work was selling it for 31p, which is what in
dude.
US.
We have it at my work for 50 cents a can. I didn't even know what it was. Like I was drinking it. I think I took a picture of it and I sent it. And Kiki's like, "Dude, you realize that's blah blah blah's drink, right?" I was like, "Oh, is it? Well, I'll finish this and that'll be the end of it."
So apparently, what is it? We were selling it for 40 cents in like
Right.
USD just to get rid of it because we had massive overstock and it just wasn't shifting. Like nobody's buying it because the buzz has kind of worn off,
Right.
which is quite funny.
Now it's just another energy drink, nothing special.
Yeah.
Gift giving reminds me that my mother got me something for Mother's Day.
Wait, what?
What?
You heard
Anybody
me.
other one?
My mother has a gift for me for Mother's Day.
Okay.
And I was like, holy shit. And then I sent a screenshot to my brother and sister-in-law who live in my state.
Oh my gosh.
And
Okay.
my brother was like, I know, I put it together today. So I was like, okay, if my brother did not rip her a new asshole, I feel better. Because he is on my side on a lot of this shit. So like if he did not rip her new asshole and then text me a warning, he's like, it's a thoughtful gift she got off of Facebook. I was like, okay, all right.
Oh, she got it off of Facebook.
Yeah,
I'm
she's
scared.
gotten the other shit off of Facebook that she's seen. But it's like, why she would do that? Because, so, you would think the woman would have empathy for me because she also had fertility issues and trying to have kids. So I figured it out. Between my older brother and me, she watched two of her sisters have all of their kids, which is five kids in the span of 7 years. So, like, you would think she would have a little bit of empathy. And, oh, we gotta get her something for Mother's Day. Really? Did I ask for something for Mother's Day? Did I express interest? No. I mean, and the shit over and over again is just like, since Christmas has made me realize she doesn't care. Well, she cares, but she doesn't care to actually know who I am as a person. It's like I mentioned, we went to see Godzilla. And during the movie, oh, do you write stuff like this? Sometimes. Watch the movie. Why are you trying to have a conversation with me? while we're watching a movie neither of us have seen. We're here in the movie theater to have the movie theater experience. And then she's like, oh my God, there are kids, of course, because people die and get eaten because it's a monster movie. Oh my God, kids are here. Why would you bring kids to a monster movie? Oh my God. I'm like, Mom, if the kid is mature enough, per the parent, they're going to bring him. Let's watch the movie. Stop. So stuff like that. And then, she texts me. Oh, I see Massage Envy has a job opening. You give good foot rubs. You should apply for the job. I was like, okay. And my response was along the lines of, thanks. I'll keep that in mind. Her response was, are you laughing at me? You think I'm silly? And I'm sitting there going, what the fuck? What? In the 40 years you've known, almost 40 years of my life that you've known me, and I'm not saying I'm a perfect person and I've never laughed at someone behind their back, and I've never laughed at people or made fun of them or anything. I'm not saying that I was perfect or I've never done bullying or making fun of before. But 95 to 99% of the time, Mom, when has my actions ever made you think that anyone giving me advice, especially my mother, would have my response look at them and go, ha ha ha, really? What kind of advice is that? Oh my God, so funny. Like, what have I ever laughed at someone in their face on a regular basis? Never. So I was like, and so I took a screenshot that I sent to both of my brothers. I'm like, I guess me saying things I'll keep it in mind is laughing at her. And that's not even setting aside the fact that you need to go to school and get certification to become a massage therapist and get licensed in my state. You need 750 hours of training to get certified. And I'm like, and like I told my friend, I'm like, even if I say I don't have the training, she would still be like, well, you can always go back to school. I have never expressed interest in becoming a massage therapist. Ever. Ever. And then she, of course, because she watches TV all day, she tells me about Sky Rizzy, which I guess is for psoriasis. And I was like, thanks. I can't. And she texted me about it first, and I kept telling her, like, I'll talk to my doctor about it if I need to. I'll keep it in mind, and if I need to, I'll talk to my doctor about it. I will talk to my doctor. I just want to make you feel better. I'm like, yeah. And I tried to tell her, I'm like, and stress makes it worse. Stop fucking talking about it. And then I called her yesterday and she mentioned it again. I'm like, and it just on the commercial, like all of her psoriasis went away. I'm like, Mom, you know they want you to think that, right? It's like, yeah, it kind of flustered a little bit. I'm like, yeah, they want you to think that you take this medicine and magically all your blemishes go away because they want you to buy it. Like, that's the point of a commercial, of an ad. Like, they want you to think that. I'm like, I told her, it's like, Mom, my uncle takes medicine for his psoriasis, and I saw him at the end of April. He still has psoriasis on his arms. So just because I take a medicine doesn't mean it's got to go away. And I'm like, so guess, because she wanted me to have it be gone by the time we went on vacation in July.
Right.
I'm like, so in July, I'm still going to have it. I'm like, and guess what, Mom? I don't want the sun to bother it. I'm like, Mom, or the heat. I was like, Mom, the sun helps my skin. Really? Yes. The fact that you don't know that, like, you don't, I'm like, and I've told you, I'm seeing a dermatologist. So me telling you, if I need to talk to my dermatologist about it, I will, should make you think, oh, great, good. She's taking my advice and she's seeing a doctor, and no. And she's like, well, I'm just a mother, and I want to make sure, you're doing good. I'm like, yeah, Mom. And it's so like you are with Baxter. I'm like, yeah, Mom. And there are some things that I know that Baxter can do for himself. Kind of saying like, Mom, you need to let me be an adult.
You need to just cut your mother off.
Oh, I've already gone low contact. Like, I don't call her every day, every other day. It's after her series of text messages where my reactions are either incredulousness or fucking rage. Yeah, no, you don't. And realizing, and she got me a hat to wear for vacation. And I'm sitting there going, Mom, over the past 20 years, I've never worn a hat on a regular basis, even in winter. And in winter, I either wear a hood on my jacket or wear earmuffs. And I can go around to any of my fucking friends, even though I haven't been around them or seen them on a regular basis in 20 years, and ask them, do I wear hats on a regular basis? And they'll tell you no. And those are my fucking friends that I don't see on a regular basis. I see you on a regular basis. Do I wear hats? No. Like, the cognitive dissonance is so high to the point where I'm like, you know what? At some point, I'm going to be saying things that she is not going to like. And then my responses to her will be along the lines of, you wanted to be friends with me, right? You wanted to have an adult friendship with me, right? So that means I'm going to say things you do not like. The fact of the matter, like, and my sister-in-law, when I showed her the latest text about, like, asking if I was laughing at her, she's like, and she's like, my mom's name, why are you so mean to your daughter? Like, exactly. Because she knows previously I've been a doormat. Previously, I have not thrown a fit or caused issues because I do not like confrontation. Because that's my personality. Because
Right.
that is and I thought about it, I'm like, and it's like, and the thing is, I haven't said anything because that's the right thing to do. As my mom so graciously put it when she was taking care of my grandma, she's like, this is the right thing to do. I'm like, yeah, the right thing to do is not screech at my mom. That's the right thing to do because you're supposed to love and respect your parents. And so it's like, yeah. So that's like the whole thing of like,
love and respect only goes so far.
yeah, and like I know my younger brother, like when we because we talk about it almost every time we see each other, my younger brother and I. And so he said that he's told her that you have to give respect in order to get respect.
Right.
And he's still like the first message she sent in January, where she was passive aggressive and emotionally gaslighting. He's still got to apparently talk to her about it. I'm like, hey, you want to talk to her about it? You go right ahead. But that's something that's like, yeah, no, you go right ahead. So
You're all adults now. You got to treat each other like one.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I'm just gonna start inserting statements that are kind, but also, like I said earlier, like, oh yeah, and also let Baxter do the things that he knows how to do already.
Right.
Like inserting things like that, like, Mom, I know you're smart enough to read between the lines. You're not stupid. Like, not stupid at all.
Oh.
Tim came back long enough to say, oh.
No, sorry, my dad walked in the room. He just needed something.
That's fine.
Oh, no worries.
What was I gonna say?
But yeah.
I'm drawing a blank. I am still without my Raylar.
So about your what?
It's a pill called Raylar. Feel free to look it up. It is a bipolar medication.
I spelled it wrong, but
VRAY. I can't spell anymore.
I think I found it.
It's like the cornerstone of my health. It keeps the mania at bay. It keeps the hallucinations at bay. It keeps... It helps all my other bipolar medication keep my bipolar at bay. And I have not had it for weeks now. Because my insurance is being a bit of a bitch.
Fun.
I hear that, although albeit NHS, but I had to run around to about five. Why am I saying five? I had to run around anyway. A few different So I went to go and try and get my top up for my inhaler today. So I feel on this. I went into the place where they said it initially being sent to. Went in there, but because they just moved into the new building, their system for prescriptions was all screwed. So they gave me the prescription and said, look, we don't have it in here, but if you take this to one of the other places, you can get it. I had to run around trying to find somewhere that had an inhaler in stock.
Oh,
I don't know what it is at the moment, but just like, whether it be, because isn't it in the US as well, you guys have got like shortages of things like Ritalin and whatnot as well.
That's manufactured. The DEA only allows so much to be produced a month.
Yeah.
So when the supply is used up, there's no more until the next month.
Is that the same with yours, or is it just insurance that's causing issues with your stuff then?
No, regular you don't make drugs out of. It is something I cannot pay out of pocket for because it's $1,400 for a 30-day supply.
$1,400.
No.
At least I think it's 30 days. It might be less than that.
Oh God, even worse.
How much did I pay today?
Not enough.
That's so wild. Like hearing the prices in the US. Like, how much is an inhaler, for example, over there?
Depends on the drug, like a Buterol or whatever. Like the most, like the oldest one. I think it's less than $20. I want to say it's not bad.
Oh.
Old drugs, like drugs that have been around for 30, 40 years, like unless it's a drug that's not prescribed very often, like they're not expensive. Like not Theraflu, the antiviral drug. I can't think of what it's called. It's not Theraflu. That's an over-the-counter thing. Tamiflu. Tamiflu's like $200 for like a course of it for if you've got the flu. But an antibiotic like erythromycin is like $18. No insurance, just $18.
Well, I paid full price for we call it salbutamol or Ventolin here, depending on the manufacturer. But for you guys, it's albuterol, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it's like a corticosteroid, I want to say.
Here, that's only about what? I only paid about £9 today, so that's about what, $11 roughly.
Yeah, it might be less. I haven't needed an inhaler in years, but I remember it being like really cheap even without insurance. There are some drugs, like if you have insurance coverage, they're like effectively free.
Yes.
Because the insurance will just cover the entire cost.
I'm guessing that's the issue then that Keats is having at the moment, is that, or am I misinterpreting?
Well, the other thing is like drugs like hers are like $1,400 over the counter. The insurance companies don't want you to use those drugs. They want you to use a cheaper drug that they don't have to pay as much money for. My mom's on a whole bunch of psychiatric drugs that are very, very expensive. They want her to switch to less expensive medication.
That's
Is like the short answer to the question.
Yes. So I mean, see, that's the thing, like, and some things, because they're considered preventative,
Right.
have no cost. So birth control through insurance is free and is cheap without it. But you try to have kids, well,
Right.
that's not covered. Because you're not preventing something.
Right.
But that just seems weird, like putting it that way. But like, it makes sense. In like, I don't mean like it's a good thing that it makes sense, but like, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it just
Right.
sounds so weird. This world is weird, and I will never understand it. I mean, what is it? My granddad for many years was a user of. He had to have insulin injections because he had type 2.
Yeah.
And like for you guys, I remember the whole thing about Eli Lilly coming out. It's just like if that were my granddad in that situation, he would not have lived as long as he did, because there is no way in hell he would have been able to afford like the prices that they were saying Eli Lilly was charging for insulin in the US.
Right.
Because obviously, he was diagnosed with it in like his 60s, I want to say. He got it covered by um whatever it is they do. My mum just made me jump.
Oh, I see.
One sec, I'll be back.
Yeah, no problem.
But yeah. Oh. Yeah, Cupcake, some point, I may not actually be talking to mom, and that may not be good for her, but
Right.
and because I was also thinking about it earlier, because her whole thing about doing the right thing, because that's what my dad taught me. You know what's also doing the right thing, Mom? Honoring your dead sister's memory and actually going to either her wake or her church service.
Right.
Even though you have a beef with her kid, and then one of your other sisters and practically her entire family who was there. Like, and even your excuse of I don't drive at night doesn't hold up, because you could have either gone with me and your son-in-law,
Right.
or you could have gone the next morning to the church service and paid your respects there. Because it was like the next morning at 9 or 10 a.m., which is during the daytime, and in the morning when she's got her energy. So it's like there is no excuse for you not going. Because if you don't know how to behave around people you don't like, that says a lot about you. But yeah. I mean, hearing that really made my hubby just he didn't necessarily have like a high opinion of how she would talk to me at times in the first place, but that like tanked his opinion of her.
Right.
That made Cupcake, you're probably one of the people who know about Mr. Mish the most.
Right.
That made him so angry. You know him. He's even keel dude. You know. But he was angry. He was like, you can't respect your sister enough to like go respect her, like go honor her for the last time. I'm like, apparently not. And it's like, this is one of the sisters that she didn't really have a good relationship with growing up either. But still, it's like, you can't, for 10 minutes, go to 3 people and say, my condolences. You know, my uncle and my 2 cousins. You can't say my condolences. And then you can't, like, just talk to a few people for, like, 5-10 minutes and then fucking leave. Like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, and also, like, it was made even, like, worse a little bit. Because when Mr. Mish and I got there, my cousin, who lives in Florida, drove from Florida to Ohio to pay her respects to her aunt. And you live like 10 minutes away from this funeral home. And you can't even have someone pick you up and drive you to a funeral home. Because you knew that Mr. Mish and I were going. But you can't have us pick you up. Oh no. Oh no. Because you had a beef with that sister, and then another sister that you have a beef with also showed up. And it's like, it's like totally like, and it's like, can you smell the hypocrisy? I can. The right thing to do is pay your last respects for your sister, whether it's at the wake or the church service. But you can't do that. I'm like, this aunt wasn't one of my favorite aunts either. My grandma wasn't necessarily one of my favorite people either, but I still went to their wakes. But what do I know? I'm just some random kid. Anyways. Let's move away from this because I didn't necessarily want to turn this into a bitch fest.
You good?
I see here that Cupcake has mail!
Actually, I'll be right back. I gotta go check the oven.
Okay.
Bye. I gotta get dinner ready because it's getting later and later.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Into the ether, he disappears, never to be seen again.
Oh, he'll be seen again.
I have stared into the abyss, and it stared back, and said, "Get."
Deep dark abyss, what is your wisdom?
Goobily gook.
You know, it's funny, in the space of time since I joined the podcast to now, like, it's gone from being, like, really bright outside to pitch black.
It's what you get for being in your time zone.
It's mad, because that was what? We've been here, what, about 2 hours?
Let me check. Yep. About 2 hours.
Space of 2 hours, it's gone from really bright out to just nothing. That's why I jumped when I saw my mum, because she just came up to the window, because I'm right at the front of the house, like, see if she could catch me, and she just appeared out of darkness.
Hmm.
I think this was when you were out sorting some stuff, Geek, so... But these two just heard me all of a sudden go, ooh! He's back from the abyss.
Yeah, sorry. I was throwing a pizza in.
Pizza.
I was gonna do something, but I
pizza.
realized. I was gonna say I realized when this lady we were starting, I'm like, I'm just gonna grab a pizza to make because like I ain't gonna have time to make anything before she gets home.
Pizza.
Yeah.
I had pizza yesterday.
Oh, that's right. I need to make dinner for myself because Mr. Mish is traveling. I forgot to take something out of the fridge or the freezer. Ow.
Lol. I remember when I used to work at Domino's, I used to have pizza pretty much every day. I'm surprised I never got tired of it. And then again, you start eating the same, like, very, very light pizza in the end. You kind of find what's for you, and you just eat that every shift, and it's, as long as it's not heavy on the stomach.
Pretty much.
Hot take, though. The vegan dough's actually really nice.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of mail.
This is what happens when you work all the time and never look at your mail.
All I can say is don't have a PO box that's over an hour to get to away from you.
Why did you put it so far away? What?
Because there's nothing closer.
Oh, okay.
So I have to make sure on the day off that I get there before closing, and annoyingly they're not open at the weekend, so I can't just go out on a Sunday.
Right. Right. My $8 copy of the Blu-ray edition of Standalone Complex Season 1.
Hey, yo.
It was on daily special on Amazon. I was like, for $8, I'll give it a shot. 'Cause this is like universally despised for having terrible authoring. Like, if you're just gonna watch it in English with no subtitles, it's fine. But if you try to do anything else, it's so much worse. They brought up that this is one of the few modern titles that doesn't have opening closing skip. So like each episode is one big chapter.
Jeez.
Right?
Yay. Remember when like Disney movies were like touting this way where you could skip half the stuff and get straight to the action?
Right.
And now it's just like standard.
Paprika in 4K.
Nice.
Nice.
I could never say no to Satoshi Kon steelbooks.
What's we hoarding?
Here. First one went so easily. This one was just like, yeah, no, fuck you. I went too low. That's why. When did I order this?
Wow.
Wait, what's that happening, isn't it?
This is the new one, not the old one. This is the
nice.
the new series. Seasons 1 and 2.
Nice.
And as you can tell from the death of Right Stuff International, I'm now getting most of my anime from Amazon.
Yay. No, actually, not yay.
Well, that's one of those capitalist hellscape shit that you can't escape at this point.
Right.
There's no escaping the capitalism. I think we need Tim Curry in here.
Sailor Moon.
The new master. I bought it once. I'm buying it again, which I think the last season's out now, or it's coming out the next week or so. So that's cool.
I tried doing the Sailor Moon pose and I accidentally knocked my plate off the table.
Good job. How about some hot second gig action?
Hell yeah.
I was gonna buy season 1. I figured I might as well buy season 2.
All right, BRB.
Okay.
Bye. I didn't even know that was out. Lupin!
Yo!
Part 5. Or was that part 6? Nope, part 5. The Italian Adventures.
Nice.
Nice.
Kind of want to watch that with you.
Oh god.
I'll just simp over the samurai. Thank you very much.
Ishikawa. Not Ishikawa. Can't think of his name. No, Zarigata. Goemon.
Yes.
Can I just point out something funny? Right, you know how they had to redo the
my
Sonic
god!
movie? Yo!
Nice.
Nice.
Season 1, part 2.
You know how they had to redo the Sonic movie?
Yeah.
It's the same studio that redid all the CGI for the first Sonic movie, that did the Lupin the Third movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Lupin. I know I have a knife right somewhere. Oh, here, that'll work. See something I can make sharp enough to get through. What the front? I don't even know what's. What the hell is in here? Great googly. What the? Digimon Adventure 2. Okay, that's good with that.
So while Cupcake is doing that, I know earlier we were talking about like older, media and stuff, movies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just remembered. So in another server, we watched the 2021 Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Good movie. I enjoyed it.
It was very good, and that's the first time I had seen it. And I was saying, like, we're all sitting there going, "Who is cutting the nostalgia onion?" Like, oh my god. Like, oh my god, the siren on the vehicle and the one-liners. Oh.
And then finally, big box. Done, 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 done.
Nice.
The Blu-ray edition. Holy shit! This thing's like $300, and I don't know why. This show is like 15 years old.
Are you okay, Stink? I'm gonna go over here. You wanna come with me?
That's it.
Okay,
That's
you can
my
sit in bed.
That was mail.
That was the mail call.
Right back.
Wow.
Oop.
How much I had to gotta pull that pizza out of the. Everybody says.
All right, what am I gonna have? Oh yeah, I finally found a book that I had as a kid. I have one. Where is there we go. So it's this one. Summerland. It's a post-apocalyptic themed book. So basically like the end of the world came by via a drought.
Okay.
And it's kind of like D&D themed a little bit, where you meet the different party members and they all come together to like go on adventures through like multiple dimensions. And you find out that one of the main characters, who's been masquerading as a man, was actually a woman. Her dad is the reason why the drought happens. And he's like God. And so like they have to defeat him to stop the drought. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's yeah. So on the back it says, in the year of the fire, chaos rules and bone drying in the summer, an inexplicable drought has hastened the breakdown of society. The city-state Los Angeles is in flames, and a young girl watches helplessly as her entire family is destroyed. Jamie Weston's mission is to find the rain. She holds in her hand the power that will guide her through the violence and insanity of a rapidly dying West and across hidden thresholds into strangely linked other worlds. For Jamie, Weston is the key to humanity's salvation, the sole challenge to a terrifying conspiracy of magical alien technologies that would annihilate civilization just for fun. So you meet Jamie at the beginning of the book when everything's on fire, and her dad basically is like, hi, here's this, like, cut your hair into a boy's haircut, put on your brother's clothes, and then he like links her to like the magical object, and so that kind of guides her along. So
Huh. What is that book? I can't remember the name of it.
all right, I don't feel like more heartburn tonight.
Heartburn bad.
Yeah, because I had tacos last night.
Ooh, I should make tacos. What were you gonna say, Tim?
No, I just said worth.
Oh.
Sometimes the pain is worth it if the food was good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back.
I don't know about your guys' temperatures, but it's gonna be in the 90s tomorrow.
Tomorrow it is going to be 69.
I hate you.
Oh, hi, Stinky. How about we go outside? You coming?
Tomorrow, though. Using
Yes.
while I do the conversion.
Thank you.
29 Celsius.
So yeah, Kiki, it's been raining all day, and right now it's 57.
Arr.
Arr. Good job there, man. Good job.
Seems my weather app is broken. Yay. Just fine. Eh, 22. 71
Oh my god.
Fahrenheit here, apparently.
That's still pleasant.
I'm sorry.
What up?
Okay, I gotta mute myself because it's hilarious. Oh my god. Okay, so I think I sent the picture in the server of Mr. Mish finding the pillow with the beaver.
Yes.
Apparently, it's also in the elevator.
What is he, in Canada?
No, he's in Washington, D.C.
Why are there so many beavers?
I don't know. Good job. And it's hilarious because this is in a group text. And he first said yesterday, I was like, is that in your hotel room? And our friend was like, please say yes. And he's like, show me a picture with you and the Beaver King. And Mr. Mish was like, his eyes follow you around. And my same friend was like, perhaps both Beaver Kings. And I was like, sweetie. And then Mr. Mish was like, friend's name, are you really asking for a beaver shot? Because both of us had the same thought. And we're like, what? Are you asking for a picture of the beaver bush with the beaver? Like, what are you doing?
A beaver.
You naughty
it's
people.
It's like, hi friend, your Catholic upbringing and high schooling is coming into play. Hi.
So glad to be an atheist.
Yeah, not
Well,
necessarily an
well,
atheist, but I started questioning shit, and I can't have the faith that I once had, which is sometimes a good thing, I think.
I guess I'm in that same boat. I was brought up Methodist, but didn't really end up being any form of Christian, so like, or any religion. Too many questions, not enough answers.
Yeah. There are too many answers given by mortal men. Because my thing is that they may have been divinely inspired. But if it's true that they were divinely inspired and that God and his angels are incomprehensible to the human brain because of the constraints of being immortal, and living on the mortal plane, that means there's going to be things that get lost in translation. Because, Exhibit A, the Mandela effect. Like, the human brain is fallible. You think you remember something another way, and then someone else who is also there, oh no, this is what happened, it's basically the same, but it's different in like one or two ways. So it's like, yeah, God probably said some shit, and either something got lost in translation and or was misinterpreted by the people of the day.
Can't even agree on Bearstein Bears.
Yeah.
It's not just like, mistranslation and misinterpretation, but somebody pointed this out to me that a lot of religious texts, especially ones that have been through layers and layers of like modification, whether it be translating it to another language or just making a different arm of a religion, whatever, they pointed out that it is also fallible to being infected by very humanistic sort of stuff. So somebody pointed out that if you actually took it, the bit where they said about Adam and Eve, right? And in one version, because of some political biases, they said Eve was made out of a rib. But if you look at the original, apparently it was half and half. Like, nobody knows what the actual true original is now because we can't, because we don't fully know how much modification has been put on top with each different version.
Yeah.
If that made any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, like, and it's like, it's a whole translation thing too. Like, it like not just lost in translation from spiritual being to mortal being, but also, like you said, Tim, between the language it was originally written in and then the languages that followed, because languages are incredibly fluid. I mean, even the word gay, 100 years ago, gay meant happy, yay, and now it means something completely different. Like, it still means happy, but you say gay to somebody, and they're not going to think, "Oh, you're happy. That's great." No, they're not going to think that. Like, so even in the span of like 50 to 100 years, the meanings of words change. So, and then we're talking about 2,000 years or more, and well, and then a lot of those things before they were in the Bible or whatever religious text were oral traditions. So depending on who told them, you might get something that's like slightly different than like 2 miles away. So, and it's like, and that's one of my things is confession is great. If you want to go to confession, I'm not going to stop you, but God is omniscient. Catholics are taught God is omniscient. God already knows what's going on in my gray matter. I do not need to go talk to another human being to talk to God, because God is omniscient. So you cannot tell me it's a sin to not go to confession, because, yeah. Anyways. That would just be like, yeah. So
I think I'm the only one here who was not really raised in the church.
I think so too.
Hang on.
Yeah, no, she's right. Like, I was raised in the church, but I never believed a word of it. So it's weird for me because, like, it's ingrained into my personhood, but it's not something I actually. This is like it's like picking a fucking what do you want to call it? Like a story hook in your background on a D&D campaign. Like, I don't actually believe any of this shit, but I was raised in it, so it's like burned into my personhood.
Yeah.
I remember they just used to sit me at the back and just let me do the computer stuff for each of the things. I would not pay attention. I'd just be dealing with the dials and making sure they're recorded correctly.
I just remember being in like the 8th grade and being like, I'm not going to confess, and like everyone being very upset that I was going to buck the whatever and be like, I'm not confessing. I've got nothing to confess. I'm going to sit here and be quiet and not be a part of this. And they're like, well, then why are you here? I'm like, because you didn't give me a choice. There was no other option. It was come here, but I don't have to confess anything. They're like, well, we're not leaving until you confess. I confess. I have nothing to confess. All right, let's go. Like, that's not a confession. I'm like, what? I was in like the 8th grade. It's the last year I was in Catholic school. So it was like, what do you care? And like, this was Easter. So it's like, in a month, I won't even be here anymore. I won't even be your problem. Just let me sit in quiet peace. Like, no, you will be one of us. I'm like, no.
One of us. One of us. One of us. One of us.
I've had the conversation that when we had my grandfather's funeral, they brought up that the priest and the head nun brought up that I was like a phantom that they heard about but never saw at mass. And I was like, there's a reason for that. And the answer is, I'm not going to get into this right now. We're here for my grandfather. We're not here for. You want to continue this conversation? We can continue this conversation a different day. We're burying my grandfather right now. They're like, well, I'm like, the answer to your question is later. But later. Oh, well, not going to say it again. Not having this conversation with you right now.
Yeah. It's like, you push me again, and you will.
Well, I told my mother, like, they were lucky it was my grandfather's funeral, because I would have fucking unleashed on them had it been any other time.
Yeah, like,
I'm
Like,
definitely gonna be a lot less what's what I'm looking for, reserved now that my mom's retiring. I have no reason to try to, be polite.
yeah, it's like, okay, if they push me, it's like, you push me, we will go off to the side and outside, and you will soon understand why I said later. Yeah, Cupcake, you're the one who were like forced me to start thinking about what religion it always said. Because you were like, why? And don't give me that bullshit that bullshit that you and I grew up with. Like, you tell me why you believe that. Why?
Yes, yes.
And I was like, so that made me start like reviewing shit. And it's like, well, and then the whole thing, like, especially with like my miscarriage, it was like,
Yeah.
so if God had a plan for me and my life is planned out, this was going to happen whether I wanted it to or not. Right? So that's kind of a shitty thing. But then if it's not planned out, my life isn't planned out, then that means like something like this happens, you think I'm being punished for something. But so what did I do that was so in this lifetime that was so heinous that it takes the life of an innocent child, because the child does not yet have original sin, because it is said that we are born into original sin and this child was not yet born. So there's no original sin there yet. So the child was innocent. So what sin that I did so heinous that it required me to be punished like this, which I can't think of. So that must mean that I'm being punished from a previous life, which we're taught as Catholics that there's no reincarnation. So it's like, so I'm like, yeah, I like look at some of my friends and, some of their Facebook posts, and I'm like, I wish that I could have such security in my faith as you guys do. Like, and I mean it with respect. I'm like, you guys have found a portion of your life and your spiritual life that you have faith and you go to church. I can't see how right now. I don't know if I ever will. And like, I wish you guys the best. You guys seem it's very good. Looks great. But it's like there's a disconnect between my understanding of my faith and my life and looking at other people. I know there's a disconnect because I don't know what's going on in their life, obviously, that may have made them closer to their faith and closer to God. I'm like, viewing from my life and my point of view, it's like, how are you still so secure in your faith? This is something that is like, I was like, and I'm glad that you are. I was like, I'm glad that my friends are, and that's great. It's just, there are times where I'm like, yeah, sometimes I wish for that.
Right.
Because it's like, it would help make other things in my life make sense. Right? That God has a plan. Well, that part of his plan for my life sucked fucking ass. Like,
Right.
but it's like, I can't just blindly say, oh, yes, God is great, because I've started thinking. And yeah. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing either. I'm just like, there's the whole thing. And then, it's like, I'm not going to sit here and go to a priest about it, because they're going to look at it from their point of view and give me advice based on their point of view, which
Right.
is faith centric. So it's like, and I spent 14 years of my life hearing that. And And then the whole things with, I know we've mentioned on previous podcasts, like that one interview with Stephen Fry, where he's asked, like, if there is a God, and
Yes.
you meet God, and what you say to him is like, childhood cancer, really? Like, there are bugs in the Amazon
Yes.
that go into a child and eat out through their eyes.
Flies. Their larvae burrow into your eyes.
Yeah. They burrow into your eyes. Really, God? Childhood cancer, bone cancer, leukemia? And it's like, yeah, because I've had that thought process myself, thinking of that, like, all these little kids who are under the age of 5, and they've been baptized, and they're cute. I'm like, so I appreciate that there are children who do heinous things, right? But what I'm talking about is like the children who are, like, I would say, like, let's say 4 months old to like 3 years old, 3 or 4 years old. So at that point, the children, even if they are slated to do something heinous later in life, they're not doing it at that point in time. So these children are being innocent children and playing with Barbies and watching Bluey. And then one day, oh, you have to do this from a hospital bed because you have fucking blood cancer.
Bone cancer.
Like bone cancer, you have a fucking, you're, 6 months old and you have a fucking tumor in your head. Like, what did that kid do to deserve a tumor in their head that's inoperable? Like, what? That kid was just like, peeing, like pooping, sucking on mom's breast, and just having fun. And then all of a sudden, they're even sicker because they need to get chemo because they can't cut it out of their head. Like, so like, that's where it's like, and then of course sometimes people make the argument, well, it should, it's like, it's to help spur on, like, to cure cancer. I'm like, but it hasn't been cured. It, quote unquote, hasn't been cured yet because there's too much money in treating it. And that's the case for a lot of diseases or, whatever, that it's easier to treat them, and it's more, it makes you more money to treat these things than to cure them. So the altruism may be there, and it may have already cured some diseases, but no, that's not working. It's not working as fast as you would like to think that it's would work. Like, great, like, and the St. Jude, that whole thing came out of a good, but like, okay, good. Like the St. Jude thing, he said, if St. Jude, if you help me, I'll create a organization that will help kids with cancer. And then he was helped, and so he did. And so, like, yeah, that's a good thing that came out of being helped by God or religion or both. But then it's like, well, it's not been cured yet. Are they really looking for a cure for things like that?
They
Or
are.
have they already found it?
It's
like, I know that they are. I know that
it's more complicated than, like, it's like saying, why don't we have a cure for the common cold? We have a cure for COVID. Well, COVID is one of hundreds of different viral strains.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, yeah, I know that science is usually more complicated than, and that's the other thing, is that people simplify things when it's a hell of a lot more complicated than, oh, there's a cure, there's not a cure. Because again, measles is still out there. TB is still out there, but people can, like, there's medicine to prevent you from getting it, but you can still get it.
Well, let me tell you something right now. You're never eradicating measles. Never.
Oh no.
Measles is the most infectious disease on the planet. You could never stamp it out.
Well, isn't like cholera also highly contagious?
Cholera isn't an issue because we have access to clean water. We don't shit where we drink.
Anymore. Or at least in most
Yeah, I
of
was
the
gonna
world.
say.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure
I'm
there's
talking
water
strictly in the
pumps
West.
London.
I understand that like sub-Saharan Africa and parts of Southeast Asia, but like I'm talking in the West. The reason why you don't hear about dysentery and cholera is because we don't shit where we drink.
Mm. Like, what is it in London? There's still like they've still got the old like pumps from back in the day,
Yeah.
but they will never ever recommission them because there's too much of a risk considering
Right.
the past. I mean, it took them goodness knows how long to clean the River Thames to make sure it's whatever again.
Yeah.
But that said, in this country, we've started pumping sewage into rivers again and whatnot. Yeah.
Okay. Hang on. So, this is not brought up very often. When we treat our sewage, at least in the United States, I don't know about everywhere else, when we treat our sewage, generally in most places, they will not return solids to the watersheds, to the waterways. But the treated liquids do get drained back into the nearest river or lake. This is after it's treated, after everything is cleaned up. It's effectively stormwater at this point. But just so no one misunderstands, the liquids after treatment, after going through 2 or 3 or 4 stages of treatment, depending on how fancy your water treatment plant is, they dump it, like here, they dump it back into the river. I don't know what it's like for the other two, but like,
So, okay.
yeah.
So the point I was going to make is that
Yeah.
we have, like, especially in cities like London, our sewage system is incredibly old, and there's not a lot of money thrown into it at the moment because the water companies are too busy paying their investors to actually funnel the money into fixing the really, really
You
poor
talked
quality of
about
drainage
this.
system.
Your water companies are privately owned, which is so weird because all of ours are government entities.
So, but that's led to, because our sewage systems are so old and have not received many, if any, upgrades in like the last 100 years, the systems have become incredibly overwhelmed. And from what we know, they are pumping raw sewage into some rivers. Like, I think it was one of the bays is now too dangerous to swimming in the UK because it's got they've detected like some sort of, is it there or the Thames? They found like a brain-eating amoeba because of all this leakage from all this raw sewage getting pumped into the rivers. It's wild. In a first world country, this sort of thing's still happening. It's just wild to me, but it's because nobody's pumping any money into it, and the companies are collapsing because they've been paying their shareholders and not fixing the problem.
Late stage capitalism. Woo!
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Oh, I love it.
There it goes.
Yeah, no, it's what is it? Somebody even found, you're gonna love this bit. They found, because of the contamination of our rivers, they found in some fish in the UK, because obviously when you do certain drugs, some of it ends up in your pee or your poo. Yeah, we have fish that are contaminated with things like cocaine in the UK, which is just wild.
Yeah, I remember reading that a lot of your fish are full of drugs.
Yep. Cocaine fish. Don't tell the bear from Cocaine Bear that our fish are filled with cocaine.
Although, aren't some of our fish full of estrogen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not treated by water treatment plants, so when you flush it, like when you urinate, the unmetabolized stuff makes it to the river.
Yummy.
It's also true of antibiotics and other drugs, but like they always bring up birth control estrogen because it's very easy to track. It also doesn't break down under sunlight, which is really interesting. Like it does, but very slowly.
So what you're saying is, for any trans people, if you want a little bit of supplement, eat fish.
What was the line? Soy doesn't make you grow big titties. Believe me, I tried. And somebody wrote, "This must have been written by a trans person." And then the writer of the game is like, "Yep, got me. Dead to rights."
Stinky, you're okay. Yes. I know. Oh.
No, look at the kitty cat in the back.
You're getting your brother.
Oh, I didn't see the other one, but
Cats. The kitty cats. Dance, 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 dance.
yeah.
Oh, yes, one of my stems.
Hmm?
I just realized that what I'm doing that I've always done with physical books could be classified as a stem.
Oh.
So let me open this up. I have the book right in front of me. So, all right, so this. All right, so let me flip this around. Come here. Oh, there's a dog. So let me flip around.
Woof, woof, woof.
It's Baxter.
Yes.
Especially Harry Weeder.
Hello.
Book.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do.
Oh, that book's seen some action. Look at how brown those paper is.
Oh yeah, this is a used book from the Sarasota County Libraries. Because
I wasn't judging. I was like, that is some yellow. Those are some yellow pages. Hey, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so like I'll sit there and I'll be holding it, and then my fingers will start doing like page by page by page, and like feeling the texture, and then up to a point, and then letting it go, and then starting it again, and going like, yeah, that's probably a stem, and yeah.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
I think everybody has like a stem.
Goddamn.
Like,
What, Tim?
no, I was just thinking, like, if you think about it, I bet everybody has like a stem. It's just the vast majority of us don't even realize it.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Never. You can prove nothing. Fidgets with pen. Click, 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 click.
Like, I know at work, people keep on telling me, like, stop tapping your till card on like the side while you're standing still. It's just like it's either that or I bounce my leg up and down and start humming stuff. Your choice.
Yeah. It's like, which stem do you want, honey buns? Oh, time to check the mail. Oh,
It's mail time.
raindrops on roses. Oop.
And whiskers on kittens. Kitty.
Unrelated. I can tell I've been walking again because I have blisters on the bottoms of my toes again.
Oh no!
It's
Painful.
fine. Yeah. You get used to it. They pop eventually.
Gross.
What? They do. What? I mean, what am I supposed to do? They're on the contact surfaces of my feet. Like, excuse me for getting regular exercise, I guess.
Well, excuse me, princess.
That would have been the best thing is at the end of Tears of the Kingdom, that's what Link says when it's all over. She's like, excuse me, princess. And she's just like, wait, you can talk?
Well, you know, I'm just picturing it like the moment where like Pikachu suddenly starts talking in whichever film it was, and like everybody's just like,
Pikachu.
yo.
With Ryan Reynolds' voice.
No, I'm talking about like in the mainline Pokemon series.
Oh, yeah! Ash thinks he's like having a mushroom trip or whatever.
Wrong franchise. Mushrooms and Mario.
What the fuck is a Parasect then?
Oh, poor Parasect.
Shit, you got me.
And that's first gen. Like, I had this conversation, somebody was like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. They're like, it's not that old. It's from, like, the third gen. I'm like, dude, I stopped playing after the first. They're like, yeah, but it's only the third gen. I'm like, dude, I didn't pay any attention to those games after Gold and Silver, and only vaguely Gold and Silver.
Oh, bye, kitty.
They're like, how could you not care about them? Like, I am not investing that kind of time of my life into anything. Oh, my God.
Exactly.
I mean, no disrespect to the Pokemon franchise. I can't commit that kind of time. It's the same reason why I didn't finish Tears of the Kingdom. I looked at that and went, I don't have this kind of free time. I am sorry. This game looks amazing. I can't commit 200 hours.
Dude, I am watching Game Grumps play that. I am not playing that. I have never finished a Zelda game in my life. No thank you.
Other ones I've finished because they're like a 40, 50 hour mission. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can finish like all the 2D ones, or you got the old like the Nintendo Super Nintendo ones, like in a week if you really put your mind to it. You can finish fucking Ocarina of Time in a couple weeks. You can finish Majora's Mask in like, assuming you're getting help, you're not doing it blind. You can finish those in like a week or two. Even like Wind Waker, theoretically, you could finish in like a month. Twilight Princess, I know I finished the original Twilight Princess or the first playthrough in like a month. Skyward Sword took me a month. Breath of the Wild took me 2 months, and then I started playing, and then mind you, this was 2017 versus now. We got Tears of the Kingdom, and I went, nope, I can't do this again. I don't have this. Difference being I went from working like 40 hours a week max to 40's the minimum, everything up from there.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I always get to the water temple, and then it's like, nope.
Bye-bye.
I didn't even get to one of the temples this time. I just got off the first like floating island, and I'm like, no.
I'm not gonna lie. I have to admit, as I've got older, my preference has gone more to games like Super Mario Maker, which just has an endless like. There's no bottom to it. It just keeps going because you know you're not going to commit too many hours. You can just dip in, dip out as you want.
Okay, my opinion of Mario Maker, it was best when it was new. Now it's kind of congealed, or what do you say, like solidified into specific like level types. It's not as good as it was.
I'm not good at platformers, as Cupcake knows.
I've noticed. Night in the Woods, anybody? You guys been watching that playthrough? I'm like, Keiki, left, right. He's like falls 4 or 5 times. Like, God damn it, give me the controller.
I can't. You're in Minnesota.
I know.
I somehow think like if Kiki tried some of the levels that I've tried, she'd get very, very frustrated very quickly. Like, because I tried doing
when she says she's not good, she means like jump on the left platform, then jump up to the right platform, then jump up to the left platform. Like, this isn't even hyperbole. It's like, I played through Night of the Woods, which has a bunch of very basic platforming challenges, and we got stuck a couple times. And I had to be like, no, there and there. The one that sticks out to me is in the graveyard with the tree.
Mm-hmm.
We got on top of the tree 4 times, but couldn't seem to do anything. And then I found out you had to like what, you had to like walk to the very end of the limb and then jump on it 4 times so that the tree would fall in the gate
Yeah.
and open the door for the, or open the, basically break the gate down for the lizard lady.
No.
I think she's a crocodile.
Oh, sorry, crocodile. Are crocodiles not lizards? I guess technically they're reptiles, but.
I don't know.
And you have my dumbass getting 100% in Power Wash Simulator.
Well, yeah.
Dude, I have Grandmaster status in that game, and that's just sad. I'm the only person I've ever seen with that status.
Worth 100%.
Getting Grandmaster required you to finish the original game, like without any expansions. Beat all the time trials in the original game. Beat all the water challenges in the original game, which was they give you X amount of water to clean an item. And then play the research edition to completion 100%. And I was the only person to psychotically do it twice so I could get Grandmaster. Or whatever it is. It's a golden gnome.
Yes, worth it for the golden gnome.
Power washing legend. I'm a power washing legend.
Yeah. Well, at least I know who I need to go to if I need anything power washing.
I'm a pathetic pile of protoplasm. I cannot believe. And I finished all the DLC 100%. And I'm now waiting for them to release the next DLC because we're overdue because the Warhammer DLC came in February and it's now mid-May and I'm like, where's my next DLC? God damn it! I need my fix. Give me my goddamn fix.
Gotta clean more shit.
Dude, I want another full campaign. Goddammit, I would pay full price for a new campaign, like not DLC campaign, like main game campaign level size stuff.
Like Power Wash Simulator 2?
Basically.
Mm.
It'd be like Ocarina of Time versus Majora's Mask. You know what I'm saying? Like, do it again but different.
Yeah.
Or if they are going to tack it on as like another DLC, do it something like Yakuza Metro for Hat and Time, where it's literally an entirely new story just tacked onto the main game.
Yeah, because like they've done Santa's Works, the DLC has been Santa's Workshop, SpongeBob, Final Fantasy VII, Tomb Raider, Back to the Future, and I think Warhammer.
I started playing through Final Fantasy VII, and I am loving every moment of it.
I like the first one. I saw somebody playing the second one, like one of the YouTube streamers. I was just like, nope, I'm not even gonna involve myself because I would just be sucked in out of the end of me.
Lol. I did the meme called my characters Dick and Tree.
Yes, I watched that video and I hate you for showing me that video. It's so dumb.
Like what you said, Cupcake, about being sucked in. So we're talking about like what do you want for Christmas? And I was like, I would say to tell you to get me a Nintendo Switch, but knowing me, I would get sucked in and not pay attention to the other human in the house. Like, I'm self-aware enough to be like, yeah, if I have a Nintendo Switch, like the phone, I'd be playing games all the goddamn time. Like,
right.
And that's not fair.
Aren't they supposed to announce...
So...
Go ahead, sorry.
I was done, so...
Sorry. Aren't they supposed to announce the successor to the Switch soon?
No. They said the Direct in June will not have any announcements for the new Switch, but it will come this year, so probably. What will probably happen is they'll announce it in November and be like, and for sale at Christmas! Good luck, kids!
Ah, okay.
Isn't it like, was it Japanese game show around November time? I reckon that's when they're gonna announce it.
I'm expecting that they're gonna announce this one for Christmas just to fuck everyone. like October, November, they'll be like, "It's out for Christmas. Good luck."
Probably not going to get it.
I'll only get day one if the games are good and worth it. If not, I'll wait.
I'm betting wholeheartedly this one comes out with a new 3D Mario platformer.
I mean,
yes.
I have two things come to mind. Either a new Mario platformer or Mario Maker 3.
I'm going to put something for you, though. I reckon they might hold off because next year's the 40th.
Of what, Mario?
Yep.
Okay, then I'm going to guess Metroid Prime 4 launches with it.
God, I hope so.
I'm trying to think of like what first party game would be their launch title. And I'm like, well, they got a new Metroid Prime coming. I could see a new Mario of some sort. Zelda, I don't think so. I don't think they're gonna do a Star Fox. I'm thinking of titles. Like, I don't think they'll do an F-Zero. Oh, go ahead.
No, when do we do the next Pokemon? Actually, thinking about it.
Didn't we just have a new Pokemon?
Has Gen 10 come out already?
I don't know.
Pokemon Gen 10. Gen 10. So that predicts 2024. Yeah, no, it's all speculation at the moment. So, because the last game came out, 2022? So
right.
it's usually like 2 or 3 years between games, if I recall. Question mark?
I have no idea. I don't follow Pokemon.
I own a few of the games. I'm playing through Yellow at work at the moment. Because I'm hiding my 3DS in my pockets in my jacket.
I wonder if my 3DS still works.
Won't be able to get online unless you mod it now.
Not worried about getting online.
Fair enough. Actually, on that subject, I'm just going to look if anybody is actually still online on the other side, because there's still people like who got through the authentication barrier before they shut it down that are allegedly still online.
Neat.
Oh my gosh, the Mario Kart lobby's still going.
Wait,
they got the link still. Who's still alive? What is it? Xenoblade's still alive. Mario Kart 7's still alive. Mario Maker still alive. Splatoon still alive. Those are the only ones that still got people online somehow. Right. I'll just post the links while I was checking in there.
Yay, dinner time.
Nom 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 nom.
Delicious.
That's it.
What's that?
One of the guys from Bethesda that just got fired, basically put down in writing what's going on, and like didn't consider it that way, but now that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, hoop.
He's just skim reading this. It's just like kind of look at it and realize why Rare kind of just sits on their IPs, because they make more money that way rather than facing shutdown if they were to release a new one and potentially miss their target massively. Because, I mean, you look at something like Banjo-Kazooie and they're like timeless classics. And you wouldn't want to kind of desecrate a series like that. And then there's like Conkers as well. Yeah, I don't know how they would be able to make that fly in 2024, let's be real. Like, studios that actually try, they just get essentially the gun pointed at their head. I mean, Sony's not a saint in this either, considering what they did to Japan studios. So it's just like, what's the point in even trying at this point?
Right.
Groundhugger.
Oh, we're probably about to wrap up.
Yeah, we're almost done.
Yeah.
As we are at 3 hours.
Yeah, we probably should wrap it up.
Yeah.
Oops, I closed the wrong window. Don't worry, everything is fine.
Good.
Everything still works. Everything's still good.
Knocks on wood.
Actually, I'm on a wood table right now, so.
Same.
Ow, I hurt my hand.
Why'd you do that?
Cause I dumb! Okay. Mouse, go over there. I guess that's the end of it. Yeah.
Ah.
Rada.
There we go.
Bye, everybody!
Bye. Thank you for having me.
Bye!
Fish is always just like, alright, I'm done, I gotta go! Click.
Thanks for being on the pod, Tim.
Yeah.
No problem.
You're welcome anytime.
Thank you for having me, though.
Well, it was just perfect. You're like, anybody want to talk? I'm like, Tab, you want to be on the podcast?
Did not know what to say half the start of it, but you know.
It just helps having somebody else to bounce stuff off of. Like, legitimately so much of it's just like, otherwise I have nothing to say because I'm just like, as I just sit there.
Yeah, thank you for having me. That was quite fun.
Yeah, anytime, dude.
No problem. Hopefully next time I am able to join. Hopefully work doesn't kind of just time it badly with everything. Because I finished at 7, I had to do shopping and then head on home.
Dude, I am always, like, we try to start this 1 o'clock my time in the afternoon, and I'm almost always late because it's on my day off. And so I'm always, like, this morning I was doing laundry, and then I went for a run, and then I had to go grocery shopping, and then I, like, got back and, like, had some lunch, and then I had to put the groceries away. The cover on my chair was in the dryer. I had to get it out, unfold it, try to dry it out the best I can because this thing is so big that it doesn't dry. It takes like 3 full cycles to dry it. I don't have 3 hours for this to sit in the dryer. So I'm just like, hoo, ha, he, ho, ha, ho, hey, ho, kung fu, ha, ho, ha, he, ho, ha.
You remind me of there's a TikTok or thing on Instagram going around where the guy goes, what is it? Starts slapping the camera, going, "Don't do everything by yourself." And then this other guy comes on, it's like, "I can't do that. I live on my own. I cook, I clean, I wash the dishes, I wash my clothes."
Right.
If I find it, I'll send it to you. I'll post it in the group chat, actually.
Okay.
It's just like, that's a mood. Wow.
Are you gonna fucking tell me it didn't record?
No, I'm still recording.
Oh, okay.
We
said our goodbyes.
I don't stop until everyone's gone, just in case.
In case there's good B-roll.
Yeah. Hi, kitty.
Fair enough. I guess we should go and let Kiki have peace and quiet.
That
Yeah, I
go
should start
sleep.
getting ready.
That's not a
Gotta
thing
go
right
to
now. I don't have peace and quiet right now. This
Like-
Oof.
this is not peace and quiet right now.
What, your hair or the hair ornament?
The
I
brain.
love the flower crown.
Oh, welcome to my universe. Your jacket will be ready in a week.
A week?
Fucking late stage capitalism. This is not Amazon. I can't have it to your doorstep tomorrow morning. What the hell?
Fuck your universe.
You wouldn't survive the attempt.
This,
it might
this
be
is
good,
why I get delivered to a PO box.
Right. I bought my mom a top of the line Apple Watch for Mother's Day. I'm so shocked she didn't open the box that was sitting on the fucking counter for days. I forget to take it down here and hide it. She never questioned. She's like, "What's in the box?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just anime." She's like, "Oh, okay, cool."
That's
It's
my
like a
parents would
$400 Apple Watch 9 Ultra Mega Deluxe.
That's,
I bought her the. What's
go on.
up? I say I bought her
No, I
like
was
the
just
nicest
gonna-
watch. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was just gonna say it's like my parents with whenever the boxes come in with from Japan, it's just like, oh, another one of your figurines, and I just go, yep. Don't question it.
One day my mom's like, "What's in the box?" I'm like, "Dildos, giant floppy dildos." She's like, "Ew."
Yeah. Bad dragon.
My mom always asks what's in the box.
A severed head.
Schrodinger's cat.
That's a reference.
Or is it? Cue the Vsauce music.
Currency principle.
Jesus, 23:15. What the hell?
Time flies.
Give it 4 more minutes and I can do the Monsters Inc. joke.
What's in 4 more minutes?
Huh?
What's in 4 more minutes?
23:19.
Oh.
Oh.
We have
Okay.
23:19. We have. Love how if you actually look it up, it's like 23:19 just literally is WS for white sock.
Lord.
Righty tighty. I am going to log off now.
Okay, I guess I'll go have some dinner.
Bye!
You go feed yourself and
Yes.
whatever it is you decide to do now, please.
I'm gonna take my lunchtime pills.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I
wait.
forget it's still lunchtime where you are.
It's early for her. It's like almost 6 o'clock for me. She's like, "It's only lunchtime."
It's 11:15 in the evening here.
You and your future
Poor
time
sweet summer
zone.
child.
It is nearly tomorrow.
Indeed, indeed.
Just comes into the chat. Welcome to the world of tomorrow.
Oh! My favorite joke from Futurama. That and you're a real
No,
cook.
I know what people want to hear.
Bacon.
The bathroom's that way.
This is 3,000 years frozen as a friesicle.
Yeah, that bladder's still gonna fight you when you get out. Anyway, bye.
Bye. All right, now I'm going to get some dinner. Bye.
Bye!